Hey everyone, welcome in. Hello YouTube, and we're gonna go ahead and discuss some more pro wrestling. Mostly WWE stuff. NXT, Halloween Havoc was last week, so we're gonna discuss that a little bit, maybe a little bit of the fallout from that, and then we just had Saturday night's main event for this weekend. Um, some interesting discussion will be had there. We'll start out with Halloween Havoc and kind of go through the notes there. Um, we got the Bleacher Report for both events up, and mostly as a guide to kind of help me refresh my memory on certain details. But yeah, we'll be sure to discuss certain things, as we come across them. So without further ado, let's talk Halloween Havoc. I thought overall this show was pretty good for NXT. Um, Usually NXT PLEs are, I always say they're comfort food. They're not really like, they're not the bangers they used to be pre 2000, 2020, but they are very solid events. Usually expect at least a halfway decent show. So really, it's very hard for me to go into an NXT show and leave it and watching it like disappointed in any way, shape, or form. Not like how I felt watching Saturday night's main event this weekend, but we'll discuss more on that here in a bit. So let's talk Javon Evans, Leon Slayer. They opened up against Iguana and La Parca. Mr. Iguana and La Parca are very fun acts that work mostly AAA, and they've been hitting up different shows within the WWE network, whether it's NXT, whether it's SmackDown, AAA, obviously. But uh, they've been very enjoyable. Both of them are very enjoyable acts that people really get behind. They really they are entertaining. Javon Evans, Leon Slater, they have a likeness to each other. Very what Javon Evans does for NXT is what Leon Slayer does for TNA, and I think it's kind of cool that they have been pairing these guys. Both TNA and WWE have been pairing these guys, working together. Whether it's tag team, whether it's them going against each other. Um, but Shawn Michaels doing well, booking this at the start, following the Rockers formula. And when I say the Rockers formula, what some of you may not understand about that is um, back in the late 80s into the early 90s, a lot of the PLEs at the time, pay per views, would open up with a Rockers tag team match. And it was usually the match of the night. And the Rockers were very ahead of their time. Like if you had watched them, go back and watch them now, you'll be like, wow, I didn't realize they did moves like that back then. They were ahead of their time. They got the crowd pepped and excited for the rest of the event, and hot opening tags are a way to go about that, and this is exactly what this was. Very good match, very solid. Um, I mean, I don't know why they gave it a D. Wow. Apparently, the person who reviewed this match did not like the match. I thought it was an enjoyable match. Um, yeah, I don't understand why it was a D grade. What I really wonder what this person was looking for when he's watching NXT. Because what I saw was a hot crowd, a very exciting tag match, and yeah, I mean there was no story, but it didn't need a story. It was just a fun exhibition, and yeah, maybe he meant A plus. I don't know, because yeah, this guy is talking. Let's see. Okay, yeah, they were upset that this was an exhibition match. Who cares? It was an exhibition match. Like, sometimes some of the best matches that are available and that people get to watch are exhibition matches, especially ones that open up a show. You know, no one wants to see a hot, heated rivalry open up a show, okay? Those are reserved later in the show. This was fine. This was fine. Um, they could take their D plus grade and shove it up their ass. We'll see. We'll see how much more I disagree with their assessment as we continue. So the Day of the Dead match, there's been a feud. The feud between Ethan Page, who is the North American champion, and Hijo del Dr. Wagner Jr. He's been the Latin American champion, I believe is what he is, the Latin American champion. But these two have been feuding in between NXT and AAA, respectively. And I have not seen a whole lot of Dr. Wagner. But obviously, I'm familiar with Ethan Page, and Ethan Page is literally one of my favorite wrestlers as of now. Like modern wrestling, what I'm watching now. If you ask me, top 5 wrestlers I enjoy watching, Ethan Page is in the top 5. Yeah. Ethan Page has been gold since joining NXT, and honestly, his North American title run, I can't speak enough good about it. It speaks volumes. But he's been having a pretty good run with it ever since he took it from Ricky Starks, which was also a really good match, by the way. So watching this match, it's Day of the Dead match, which is basically a street fight. Basically what it was. Some fun little stuff here. Paige did some tricks. The big spot here was Paige like literally disrespected Wagner and ripped his mask. Didn't take the mask off, but just ripped the top of it. Like it was pretty awesome, which worked in the favor of Paige later for a spot. Yeah, so basically, not a lot of people obviously were familiar with Wagner either, but like Wagner showed why he is as tooted as he is, like as a talent. I was invested. Like Wagner made me care, and like Paige is such a good foil to like Wagner's resilience. Like I just really enjoyed how well they worked together. The match felt brutal. It felt like they hated each other. It felt like a street fight, and honestly, yeah, Paige went over, which obviously is the right call. You want to put the guy who's more recognizable over. Um, and yeah, it's a shame that this is probably the last match between them, but like I'm still waiting for the shoe go on the other foot and the main roster calling up Ethan Page, but I'm enjoying what I can get out of Ethan Page before that inevitable call up to where he just sits in catering all day. Maybe not, because he's a Cody boy. And if you understand what Cody boy means, you guys have seen other videos of mine. Cody boy or Cody's inner circle. And a few of those are in that inner circle. Mostly AEW talent, but like Sean Spears, former AEW talent. I correct myself. Former AEW talent. Sean Spears, Ricky Starks, Ethan Page, Jade Cargill. And there's a few others who were already on the WWE roster who are Cody boys as well. But yeah, this was a very good match. I think this was the match of the night, unless I come across a different match that I know already forgotten about. This was the match of the night. It stood out to me. It was super fun, and honestly, people should take some notes on psychology when it comes to this match. This was well done. Well done. Oh yeah. Paige came out with, that was the other thing. The Day of the Dead, he came out with the face paint as well, with like half face paint, because it's kind of like the Day of the Dead tradition about You know, a lot of people like face paint half their face, which was really nice. Um, so we had the Women's North American Championship match. Zarya, who isn't the champ, but is representing the champ, defending the title for an injured Soruka. And I'm not 100% sure if the injury's legit, honestly, but it's hard to tell anymore ever since Seth Rollins pulled that bullshit. Because usually, if anyone was injured, we automatically just knew they were injured. Like if they took time off for injury, we were pretty much aware. But now that Seth Rollins has broken the golden rule of like and is entered injuries into kayfabe again, um, it's kind of hard to determine whether something's a work or something's real. Um, or at least you question it more. I don't know if it's harder to figure it out. But yeah, Zarya won against Blake Moreau. Um, it really, this was a solid match. Definitely, Blake Moreau's time to shine. Zarya was there was one spot I just really wasn't a big fan of in this match, and it was kind of the spot where, um, basically, Zarya had the upper hand on Blake Monroe, but instead of just finishing Blake Monroe off, she was too concerned about the well being of Solruka because Solruka got intentionally tripped up by Blake Monroe while they were engaged outside, and she fell head over heels with Blake Monroe tripping her up. And of course, Zarya was so concerned about her well being while trying to take over the match that she stopped the offense and decided to go out and check on Solruka, and that's where basically Monroe took the opportunity to take advantage of her distraction and get the win, and winning the Women's North American Championship. Now, I'm very happy that Blake Monroe is winning the title. I was a big fan of her work in AEW. Obviously, she's always wanted to be in WWE. Like seeing what she did in AEW and coming to WWE, and she's killing it here as well. Loving what she's doing. She's got a great look. She's got an awesome personality. She's not afraid to get dirty, and she's not afraid to kick some ass. Like she's definitely the juice that the women's division on the main roster really needs. And I can't wait till she gets called up. She's the Barbie. Here's my opinion. She's the Barbie that the main roster needs, not Tiffany Stratton. And we'll talk more about Tiffany Stratton later, but no. This lovely lady here is by far one of the better women talents that is on WWE as a whole. On a whole right now. Really great, and I can't wait to see more of Monroe. Um but we'll see. We'll see. Um So apparently they think Monroe looked a little uncomfortable. I thought she just looked fine. I mean, that's the thing about like a lot of like independent talent or Japanese talent or people who've come from different companies or different, who have worked a different style or a more physical style. I get that you don't want to be as physical or you don't want to be kicking or destroying your opponents in the ring day in, day out in WWE. You work more dates than you would anywhere else. Um, so, for example, like when you see the Japanese style and you see them kicking and smacking the shit out of each other all the time in those matches, they don't work anywhere near as often as someone would in WWE. So, like, they have more time to recuperate, heal up, do what they need to do to between show to show. Now, if you work that style in WWE religiously day in day out, you're gonna end up like Daniel Bryan, which is kind of what he did, and that you know obviously it took its toll on his career. Um, but that's the thing. You just can't work that physical of a style, which is why like a lot of people get disappointed at like Shinsuke Nakamura. They think his style is been diluted so badly, and it's like, well, yeah, he can't be just going in there and hurting everybody like he used to. And when I say used to, I mean like his just style was just a lot more physical, and just, you can't do that. Gunther, even, like, he like doesn't do it anywhere near as bad, or like as he used to. But when it comes to physical style, like, just recently on SmackDown, we had Ilya Dragunov go against Nathan Frazier. My God, Dragunov beat the shit out of Frazier. Like, oh my God, I've never seen anyone so hamburgered up since Daniel Bryan, maybe, or like the Royal Rumble. I forget which Royal Rumble it was. I think it was Daniel Bryan, but he was so pinked up. Maybe the Gunther and CM Punk match would come close to that too. But like, Ilya has always wrestled such an intense style, so like telling Ilya to turn it down is gonna be like trying to pull teeth, or just wishing for a bus that don't come. Um, but anyways, we're off topic. Getting back to it. I can't wait to see a lot more of Blake Monroe. I'm very curious as what they do with Zarya and Sol Ruka going forward. I know that Sol Ruka seems disappointed in Zarya at the moment, and just kind of distraught. And they just relinquished Sol Ruka's speed title on NXT this past week, and I'm just like, good. Can we just retire the fucking title? I'm so fucking tired of the speed title. It serves no purpose. It really doesn't. It's it's more pointless, or if not just as pointless as the 24/7 title when that was around. Let's just get rid of it. Like, there's no need for it. There's enough mid-card titles around. We're good. Don't need another pointless title. But yeah. Like I said, solid match. We'll move on here. They've been teasing a lot. That's the other thing. There's been a lot of teases with Jordan Grace and Kalani Jordan, and on NXT they actually wrestled each other. Kalani Jordan has basically turned full heel. Basically the whole NXT women's locker room feels like she's basically betrayed NXT, because she's the TNA Knockouts champ, and she went and won the title, and that she rather represent TNA. But now she's just gone full heel and embracing the idea that, well, you guys don't believe me anyways. I'm just gonna not give a fuck about what you guys think. So yeah, I love the tension between Jordan Grace and Kalani Jordan. I believe they're gonna have more. Probably the next PLE for NXT. There will probably be a match between Kalani Jordan and Jordan Grace. I hope so, because they work very well together. And Kalani Jordan, I'm liking the heel stick. You know, her being the the girl next door gymnast. Really liking to just be just enjoying the competition. That was all well and good, but an elevation to her character and involvement, like the character actually evolving to deal with the trend and her story changing. I like where and how it's been handled. Very nice. Let's talk about some other women here. JC Jane, Tatum Paxley for the title. My God, Tatum Paxley was so over. Everybody was wanting Tatum Paxley to win, and it was crazy. Like, and this match was good. There was some near falls. There was some interference between both the calling and Fatal Attraction, or is it Fatal Influence? Sorry, I keep getting the stables mixed up. Fatal Influence. Sorry, keep getting those Toxic Attraction, Fatal Influence like mixed up. I always use one word with the other, and it's JC Jane needs to just be on her own. Just be your own wrestler. Anyways, no, there was a lot of faction interaction, And Tatum Paxley and JC Jane worked a good, very solid match. I'll still say that I forget the name of it. The Day of the Dead. Yeah, the Day of the Dead match was my favorite match of the night, but this was a good, very close second. Um, yeah, just it's just so good to see Tatum Paxley win the title off JC Jane. I mean, I was actually surprised that JC Jane dropped the title, to be honest. I think a lot of people didn't expect it. I think people expected Tatum to get screwed in some form or fashion, but instead of screwing Tatum, they instead made it to where Jane got screwed. And Tatum Paxley took advantage, which is a great way to try to elevate the Callings story with Tatum Paxley and what's her name? I'm trying to see what the Izzy Dame. They have not found a good time to really push Izzy Dame, or like I feel like if there was a time to push Izzy Dame, this is the time. I don't think she was ready before. I think now maybe is the time to do it, and Tatum Paxley would be the great foil to do this with. Maybe bringing Lyra involved, because there's that triangle friendship, love affair with Tatum Paxley, Lyra Vicaria, and Izzy Dame. But no, the Tatum Paxley storyline is probably the one of the more interesting storylines going on in NXT right now, and I'm very curious to see where they go with this. Tatum Paxley representing the women's championship, which is really cool. So hopefully we'll see what, because I gotta remember what happened this week. I watched bits and pieces of this week, but I didn't watch the whole thing. NXT, what was recent events? NXT results. All right, hold on. Oh yeah, that's right. So I just had to look it up. Yeah, that's right. She defended the title against Lola Vice, ended in no contest. So apparently, yeah, there's just a whole smudge for the women's title, if I recall. Um, yep. The Kalani Jordan defeated Jordan Grace. Yep. Miles Bourne defeated Tavian Heights. But anywho, to get back at Halloween Havoc. Um, I know they're gonna slow roll it still, but I'm just very curious as to how long they're gonna let Izzy Dame and Tatum Paxley kind of sit and stew representing the top of the women's division, because Izzy Dame's gonna take all the credit for Tatum Paxley's success. She will take all the credit, and I would assume Paxley's gonna get tired of that. We'll see. Either way, great match. I'm even more so, I'm wondering if Fatal Influence does some, like, what they're gonna do. I'm just curious what they end up doing, like, going from here, because like they just added that one chick to the group. I gotta remember who that was. Like, I know she's like newer on the roster, but I can't remember her name. But like, they just added talent to the group, and I'm just curious. Oh, Laney Reed says at the top. So I'm just curious, like with Laney Reed Incorporated, like where they go, whether they go back after the title, or if they do something else and try to get the tag titles, or I have no idea. If you want my opinion, I feel the group should just move on, but like, It's hard to say what direction they want to go. They might go to the main roster together. That could be something that could happen too. But this was another good match. I wouldn't say top echelon, but it was an enjoyable match. Broken Rules, the tag titles, Broken Hardys versus Dark State. Broken Rules means there's no rules. And it was a fun match. It looked brutal to some degree because it seemed like the Hardy Boys were just kind of like being a little cavalier with some of the weaponry, like just kind of throwing it at them and just beating the shit out of them with some of the shit. I did like the psychology of them of Matt and Jeff focusing on the two people who were not legal for the match. I say legal like it mattered, but like the two people that would not pin them for the match, they went ahead and took out those two Dark State boys by diving off ladders and onto tables onto them so that they could focus on the rest of Dark State and have the rest of the match with them. But yeah, overall it was fun. Just a fun like hardcore match in a general sense. It did I wasn't surprised that Dark State won the titles back because it seemed a little silly to have the Hardy Boys have both the NXT titles and the TNA tag titles. And it's like they're tagged unfortunately the NXT tag division isn't that well established for the men's side. Well, and just in general, it's just not established at all. Outside of like Dark State and maybe one or two other teams. So at this point, like, yeah, just giving Dark State back the titles just makes sense here. I really do feel like they need to elevate more tag teams, or at least get more tag teams established in NXT, because I feel like this is the biggest, like the most lacking area in NXT right now, where it used to be an area that was prominent and thrived for NXT, the tag division, because there's been so many awesome tag teams and awesome tag team defenses over the years, between Gargano Ciampa, American Alpha, Ascension, the Undisputed Era, Fraxium, FTR. There's so many different good tag teams over the years. Mustache Mountain, you name it. It's just been so many great tag teams over the years and so many good programs. It's just lately, like, the tag scene has been very abysmal for probably ever since Fraxium basically went bye-bye to the main roster. It's been abysmal. Hank and Tank, they're fine acts. They're just not. I'm not buying a ticket to see Hank or Tank, okay? That's what I'm saying. So, like, they really need to find some other acts that can represent the tag division. They really need to get back to what made that division awesome. And yeah, because they've all but forgotten or quit caring about any tag division on the main roster. So NXT just really needs to be the ones to at least hold down the fort when it comes to a tag division. But yeah, I wouldn't say that you should go back and watch this match. Like, this is it was a fun match to have on the show. They graded a B minus. I would have gave it a B. But yeah, just overall, I think it was they couldn't do anything too crazy unless they plan on doing something too crazy like down the road. But it was for what it was fine. Let me keep in mind, let me also mention, it is crazy to see Matt Hardy and Jeff Hardy at ages 47 and 51, or is it 48, 51? They're about that old. Those guys doing TLC ladder table, like, weapon matches, like hardcore matches. To have them being and working at this level and doing matches like that at their age is ridiculous. Is crazy. And I very much appreciate, their contributions overall. And I will mark out if they actually get inducted into the Hall of Fame this year, because I wonder if that's like, was that official? Or I thought I heard rumors that they're probably going to be in the Hall of Fame. I'm going to look that up. Yeah, I don't know. Don't know. But yeah, I feel like they should be in the Hall of Fame at some point here in the near future. All right, so NXT Championship, Ricky Saints, Trick Williams. What they give it? They give it a C. See, here's the thing. I would have gave this match the worst grade of the night. So here's the deal. Ricky Saints, he's a good talent. Trick Williams, he's a good talent. But sometimes good talents don't really work well together. And sometimes I feel that a match produced for a certain for a feud or a program might be the wrong call. And I believe they did the wrong call here. So the hype leading into this has been months in the making between Ricky Saints and, like, in general, like, the hype has been months in the making. Now the interactions between Trick Williams and Ricky Saints are a little bit more fresher coat of paint with the last several weeks. But like Trick Williams' obsession with being the number one guy and being Mr. NXT has been like a program for Trick all year round. And he could never beat Obafemi. Never beat Obafemi. So he goes and wins the TNA title to be the top dog, to be the top man. And then, of course, when he loses that title and Oba's now no longer in the picture, he's going to try for the NXT top title, which is now held by Ricky Saints. These guys exchanged a lot of words. These guys got heated, physical confrontations, brawls, and also like the fact that, Trick Williams betrayed Ricky Starks and left them for dead for the showdown match. I felt this title match should have been a lot more heated than what it was. This to me felt like it felt like a match of one, it felt like a regular wrestling match, but didn't feel aggressive enough. I saw some aggression a little bit from Trick Williams, but I think I needed to see more aggression from Ricky Saints. But I think overall this whole match needed more aggression. And I would have been okay if this match didn't even end on if it ended on a smash finish. Now I know normally people hate smash finishes for main event matches, but I feel like this would have been the right time to do it for this program. Especially since what we got was, it just felt like, I don't know, it just didn't feel like they were clicking as well as they could have been. It also felt like that they were it just, I don't know. At the end of the match, it was hard to buy either of these guys as the champion. I'm trying to find a way to describe it. It overstayed its welcome. Well, maybe we'll just say that. The match kind of overstayed its welcome. They really needed to do something to really bring it to the next gear or two, and it never shifted out of that initial first or second gear. And I just felt I was bored. And honestly, yeah, I feel like there should have been more aggression. Just wasn't there. It just felt like two guys just trying to figure out how to like work with each other in the ring. And by the time the match was over, they still hadn't figured it out. That's what this match felt like. And I hope they figured it out because they're continuing their feud. They're going to keep going after each other. And I also didn't like Saints beating Trick here. Like, okay. Ricky Saints is also a notorious, like, he's a notorious tweener, right? Like, it's hard to somewhat buy Ricky as a pure babyface. Like, if Ricky Saints maybe would have, like, tweened and, like, cheated a little to beat Trick, I would have probably bought this a little more because that would have showed at least a little more aggression and desperation on Ricky's side. I didn't see the struggle. I didn't see the desperation. I didn't see the aggression. It just felt like they were going through the motions. And it just, yeah. I think a little bit of this also was I thought Booker T took too much away from the match. I know Booker T can tend to be a little his personality is a bit booming during commentary and whatnot, but like you could tell like it was just like a little too much. Like the aggression I wanted to see in the match was all in Booker T. Well, if you could take Booker T's aggression and put it in the two characters that were wrestling in the ring, that would have probably made the match a hell of a lot better. But no. Booker T I think took away from the match a little bit, in my opinion. I just yeah. Um I think all players involved would want to take this match back and try it again. But it was what it was. Saints won, you know, and which maybe it's to help Saints look strong. But I mean the guy pinned Obafemi clean. How much stronger does he have to look? You know? That's my thing. Like how much more does Trick have to look like he can't win the big one before, you know? I just feel like there was just some bad calls on the production here. And yeah. I'm starting to talk in circles now, but anyways, overall, I thought this was the worst match of the night. Overall, as a whole, the show was enjoyable, but like this match could have been better. So I'm very interested in seeing where they go from here in NXT. Um, apparently, I heard Ricky just in the AAA recently. I think it was earlier today. Ethan Page and who was he teaming with recently? Chelsea Green. Yeah, Ethan Page, Chelsea Green won the mixed tag titles in AAA, which is pretty cool because now they can parade that around and work together as an act. Like they work very well as an act, and I want to see more of that. I want to see more of those two together. Like I don't normally get behind mixed tag acts in WWE more so than anywhere else because WWE does very limited work. Like they keep it real limited with mixed tags for obvious reasons. Um, but yeah, I'm glad that they are doing more work together, and I think they're awesome. Good act. Um, so let's now that we've discussed Halloween Havoc and NXT in general, and what to expect from there and what we're looking forward to. Let's go to the main roster. Let's talk main roster. At least when it pertains to Saturday night's main event. I have some frustrations. All right. So Saturday night's main event, four matches. Let's start with Cody Rhodes, Drew McIntyre. They gave it a C. So basically, the idea up to this match, Drew McIntyre is basically getting Cody Rhodes to go over his patience threshold, and has been basically making Cody lose his cool, so to speak, and getting himself disqualified and shit by especially during title matches they've had against each other, to where he would just snap and not give a shit about defending the title properly and beat the shit out of Drew McIntyre. Well, this was all Drew's plan to get him put in a situation where now Drew got the stipulation put on this match to where if Cody Rhodes um basically if Cody Rhodes got disqualified or counted out, basically he got stripped of the champion's advantage, so to speak. So watching this match, it was very slow for an opener. This was a very slow-paced match. Drew was constantly trying to goad Cody into doing mistakes, making him either get himself disqualified or getting him to accidentally hit the ref, or he was trying to purposely take advantage of ring out spots and trying to get a count of 10 before Cody would get in. Stuff like that. So all the stuff that a cheesy heel would try to win without pinning, Drew was doing all that because he would get the title if he won that way. Again, no champion's advantage. So it was pretty drawn out, and basically they have been doing this impromptu feud of Drew McIntyre and Cody Rhodes because of recent injuries and other stuff, just other stuff that's been going on in and out of WWE. So basically these guys have been working together for the last month and a half, 2 months. Anywho, Cody Rhodes obviously gets tired of Drew shenanigans, basically takes advantage of a ref bump and utilizes the title and drops McIntyre's head on the title because the title got involved and this and that. But yeah, I guess a lot of people are getting real tired of Drew McIntyre not getting his comeuppance. It's weird using the term comeuppance for Drew McIntyre, but I don't know. I think I'm in the boat. Drew is a very compelling character. Drew is very good at the storytelling aspect that WWE so often wants to embellish. And Drew is just one of the best talents they've had in years. They refuse. They refuse to put the title on. They refuse to make him promote him as one of the main event players that the company has to offer. Instead, they make him a jobber to the stars, which sucks. Because he's good enough to be in the main event scene, but he'll never go over. With the exception of a 5-minute WrestleMania win to give the title to Damian Priest, of course, but I guess I heard that the YouTube video that shows the finality of this match, or just this match in general, I heard the YouTube video on WWE's got a shit ton of dislikes. Shit ton. And it's not to say that Cody Rhodes is a terrible champion. It's just, what are you doing with Cody Rhodes? What are you doing with Drew McIntyre? Like, what? Like, it just seems like they're in a constant holding pattern for this title, for what they're doing. It just doesn't seem like they're looking for. It seems like they're holding out till like Royal Rumble, WrestleMania. I think there's things they really want to do with that title, but they gotta be able to just stall until that time of the year. And they're not putting really much any effort into these programs or the storytelling here, and it shows. honestly, this story has been very basic. And part of the problem is the why it was so basic is because they've been working around other people's schedules and injuries and stuff like that. Like Cody took time off to film Street Fighter, the new Street Fighter movie that's going to come out next year. And that's where Roman Reigns has been right now. Like he's been taking time off to film Street Fighter. Um so there's been a lot of like, okay, stars are in and out. I know there's a few other injuries right now that are also being problematic. And it's just like, it's getting to the point where it's like, I know they're also dealing with the John Cena, like finishing up John Cena's like world tour. And it's just, I think they're trying to like, it's getting to be a point where instead of just like booking solid like doing solid booking for the sake of doing solid booking and then kind of figuring out where to go from here to here to here to here and just kind of filling in like kind of, you know, seeing a little bit further down the path as you inch your way down the creative hole. No, what they're doing is, okay, WrestleMania is here. Royal Rumble's here. We know what we want to do for Royal Rumble to get to here. But until we get here, we need to kind of just make it to there. We need to make it to here. Because anything that happens prior to here don't matter. This to here is all we care about. That is all WWE and booking and creative, Triple H, all of them care about right now. Is what happens at the Royal Rumble? Well, actually, just before that, what happens with Cena's retirement tour? Then what happens at the Royal Rumble? Then what happens at WrestleMania? Nothing else matters. Nothing else. They don't give a shit about anything until then. So unfortunately we're gonna be sitting through some terrible just happenstance whatever booking until we get to that point where they know the direction they want to go. And that's the thing, when Triple H knows exactly what he wants to do and the creative team, the execution can be done very well. But when they don't have their heart into it, or that's not something they're totally sold on, and we'll discuss more of that here in a bit, it's not captivating storytelling is basically what it is. It's what we're seeing. People are losing interest. People are shitting on WWE. There's places are starting to not sell out now. Yeah, you remember how they were bragging about how they were selling out everywhere, and fucking the Raws and SmackDowns were just fucking filling up left and right. They're not selling out now. And part of that is the booking, part of that is the creative. The other part of that is the fact that the prices are super high and people are just unable to afford it. So they're like, yeah, fuck it. Their numbers are down across the board on different streaming platforms as well because of their division and how inaccessible it's becoming to watch WWE at home, let alone going to live events. At home even, it's getting harder to keep up with WWE. They're spread across multiple platforms. Vince was right. Vince was smart back in the day when WWE Network was all on one platform, was all on, whether it was their own network or on Peacock, it was all in one place for the most part. Like, of course, they had their like long-term cable deals and they couldn't get out of those. But like for their library and for anything that was beyond what they had for their cable deals, it was all in one place, right there. You could stream it on Peacock, and that's where you know where to find it. Now that it's everywhere, every random thing has a random WWE program on it. And it's hard to follow. You can't, like, a lot of people can only watch one thing or the other. Now people are priced out of, like, being able to follow it on ESPN. Oh, you want to watch the big shows? Well, good luck. You're forking a shit ton of money to watch them now. Hint, hint, I'm not. Like, screw you. Like, that was one of the things I was super excited about, like, supporting was anywhere where WWE I could watch it all. The library, current PLEs, you name it. And at one point I'm NXT until they went to CW. Trust me, I was that annoyed me so badly. Um so yeah. Um it's getting unattainable and just very frustrating. I kind of wish I really wish Tony Khan would take advantage of the apparent weaknesses and the backlash that WWE is getting as of right now and push themselves as the affordable alternative. I know Tony Khan isn't really like super big on like trying to make a lot of money with his product, but he could make more money and he could be bigger than what he is. Like, they just need to take the opportunity. They need to really do what they need to do. I'm glad they're focusing more on themselves, and what they've been providing as a product has been pretty enjoyable for the most part. Granted, there's still some itchy, head scratching booking decisions and some content that you see on PLEs that make you go, but that's just pro wrestling in general. But yeah, with some of the I'm trying to think of the word. Basically, some of the exposure to the armor, chinks in the armor, so to speak, for WWE, like AEW should take advantage of those and expose the, kind of weave themselves in and burrow and try to get themselves a little more out there at this moment, because I think people are getting frustrated. More people are wanting to watch some wrestling and their price pointed out. Be very affordable and do it before they push TNA to be more accessible than you. Like, that's the other thing. You can't have TNA be more accessible. Like, if somehow TNA becomes the number 2 wrestling company in the US outside, more or less, that's watched on television or watched all around, then AEW's in a heap of trouble, in my opinion. Um so again, we're kind of running away with discussion here. Let's go back to Saturday night's main event. Um, Women's championship match: Tiffany Stratton, Jade Cargill. Love that they turned Jade heel. I always felt Jade's done her best work heel, and love that they basically squashed the wannabe Barbie, who I feel just has cooled off so badly in the company. I know, like, I know some people would be like, I know there's some people who are Stratton fans, but like, I feel like Tiffany Stratton's a shell of her former self from NXT. Like, I feel like she came to the main roster and she just basically is as plastic as the Barbie that she represents. The Barbie doll, like, concept that she represents. Like, I just felt like Tiffany has devolved from NXT to the main roster. And ever since she's been champ, she's been hard to watch. Like, her feud with Charlotte Flair, her matches with Nia Jax, her program with Jade Cargill up until now. Like, I just haven't been really, like, it's almost to the point where anytime Tiffany Stratton comes on the television, I want to change the channel. Granted, I can't change the channel when I'm watching it because I'm watching it through other means, but you know what I mean. She's not compelling television. Well, I'm glad that they decided to do something with Jade Cargill. They gave her a fresh coat of paint. She looks badass. And then she tossed Stratton around like she was like a jobber. Which, one, it made Cargill look really good. 2, it keeps the match short. Jade Cargill has got a terrible memory. She can't follow through on long matches. Don't do long matches with Jade Cargill. She's gonna forget spots. She's not great at remembering her spots. So if you're gonna push this woman, you gotta make sure it's a formula she can follow. And having her go in there for several minutes, 5 to 7 minutes, and basically beat the crap out of the champion and win dominantly, that's all you need. And she looks like $100, so you gotta make her presentation look like $100, and that's what they did here. Not much of a match to talk about. I mean, she just dominated. Basically, I don't know if Stratton's legit or injured. I know they were favoring her knee, but I don't know if she has a legit injury or it's just like they just really wanted to get the title off her. And at this point, I'm happy she's that they've moved on. Let's just see what else they can do with the women's division with Cargill at the top. Because Stratton's reign was very forgettable. Let's just leave it at that. Moving on. Penta, Rusev, and Dominic Mysterio. This was the match of the night, unfortunately. Because it wasn't that great of a match either, but it was more enjoyable and entertaining than the rest of the show. So basically, Rusev, Penta, Dominic, they've been hashing it out left and right. Dominic's been pulling tricks out of the bag to win matches and to retain his title. But yeah, like it's kind of nice to see Rusev like be Rusev, you know. I never understood why AEW just didn't use him. And there's been rumors that, you know, he was one of those guys who hated the creative and never wanted to lose and this and that. But it's funny because he's lost plenty since he's been on WWE. Like, I don't know if losing was that big of a deal. Sometimes I really don't think people or talent that work in AEW get tired of creative or they fight or argue as much as people are led on to believe. I think what it is just Tony just gets bored of characters or gets bored of talent and just doesn't use them. Now, there are a few exceptions, aka Ricky Starks, where, you know, Starks was a big CM Punk supporter and had basically mentioned and said things in regards to AEW and his lack of use and basically offended Tony, and he just said, screw it, I'm never going to use this guy again. But yeah, like I think honestly with some of the talent that Tony had so much talent under his under contract. It's hard to use everybody and to use everyone equally and appropriately. And then sometimes you just look at a talent or you just look at some creative or some item and you just look at it and you're like, what do I even want to do with this? And that's kind of what the deal with Rusev is. It's kind of like maybe that's how Tony felt. He just looked at Rusev's like, I don't know if I could really do anything with this guy. And there was a few exceptions where he tried to do stuff, but I don't know. It just seemed like it was a lot of start and stop for Rusev other than like one long TNT title run. But back to this. So you got you know, there's a lot of back and forth action, you know, between the three of them. It was fun. Basically Rusev just beating the crap out of Dom every time he had the ability to get his hands on him. Penta going in and causing interference and doing what Penta does and being the smooth criminal that he is, and Dom being Dom. Eventually, Rusev gets Penta, or no. Yeah. Rusev gets Penta in the accolade, and next thing you know, the ring bell goes off, and Rusev thinks he won. You know, Penta gave up. And here, you know, it's Dom ringing the bell, basically getting Rusev to get off Penta. And eventually, the ring hammer worked its way into the ring after that confusion. Rusev gets hit in the head with the hammer at some point. Dom retains the title, pinning Rusev. But you know, Dom doing dirty tricks in order to win the title, like Eddie Guerrero would used to. I did like there was a fun little part of the match where, you know, Dom tried to set up the basically he threw a chair at Rusev that hit, and Rusev caught it. And he put himself in a situation where he's like, "Oh no, Rusev hit me." Rah rah rah, like trying to be the boy who cried wolf, like Eddie used to do. And the ref had to sit there and remind him, "Dude, it's a triple threat match. There's no rules." And Dom's like, "Wait, no rules?" And Rusev's like, just proceeds to hit him with the fucking thing. So I kind of like that Dom just, because Dom, his character acts assumingly stupid sometimes. And this was a great kind of note on kind of a nod to that. So I was found that very, very fun. Like I said, it was an okay match. I would have probably gave it a B. He gave it a C. I would have gave it a B. It was a fine match. The best match of the night. And yeah. Dominic Mysterio still the Intercontinental title. Still the Intercontinental champion. Sorry, not the Intercontinental title. He has the Intercontinental title. Blah. All right, let's talk about the worst match of the night. Oh, they're mentioning it here. Let's talk about it. Yeah. The last time is now tournament. They mentioned the last time now tournament, but it's gonna be a bracketed tournament to see who will take on John Cena for his last match at the next Saturday night main event. What was interesting about this announcement was that Cena says he could possibly take on someone who's on the roster. He could possibly take on someone that's in NXT. He could possibly take on someone who doesn't even work here. That was interesting. It's like, you mentioned that. Now everyone's talking, is it Edge? Does Edge come back for a one shot? Like, now everyone's wondering. And it's like, well, he can't come back for a one shot because he would have to work the whole tournament and win the tournament. But I'm like, who would not be working currently in WWE other than like maybe Matt Cardona? Maybe Matt Cardona comes in and ends up being his final guy. I don't know. Maybe he works a match or two. Maybe it's Dolph Ziggler. Nick Nemeth. Like, it could be Nick Nemeth coming in and working some matches. Like, I wouldn't be surprised there. Like, because some of those guys in TNA have a past with John Cena, so would not be surprised. Maybe Jeff Hardy. I don't know. Everyone's prediction is probably Gunther is going to win the tournament, but I don't know how good a match between Gunther and John Cena would be. I would love to see Gunther beat the shit out of Cena. Like, Cena just be willing to just take Gunther's abuse for 15, 20 minutes. I don't know. We'll see. It'd be fun. Yeah, I'm just very curious. If there is someone I want to see get the Cena rub here, I know there's other names mentioned, and it's mentioned actually right here. I want to see Carmelo Hayes get the Cena rub. Carmelo Hayes, in my opinion, very, very, very talented and he's probably, in my opinion, the most underrated talent in pro wrestling right now. The most underrated talent in pro wrestling. is Carmelo Hayes. He's very talented. He's very good in the ring. He is literally the modern day Shawn Michaels. Like, that man is hands down one of the better things in NXT 2.0. And yeah, NXT 2.0. He was definitely one of the best things to come out of that. And he was, and still is, very relatable and very enjoyable to watch. And it blows my mind that they have done nothing with him yet, other than have him deal with The Miz for what seems to be at least a year now, or almost close to a year. It's like, Jesus Christ, we can't. There's nothing else to do with this guy than have him hang around The Miz. Can't The Miz retire? You know, just so tired of The Miz. But yeah, so I'm very curious where, like, who's in the tournament and what the brackets look like. So we'll see what they do with that here coming up. All right. Now, worst match of the night, CM Punk, Jey Uso. Worst match of the night. So it's for the World Heavyweight Championship. Seth Rollins gives up the title, vacates it due to injury, legit injury. And yeah, so CM Punk was the number one contender, but they needed someone else who would be also a number one contender. And they had a battle royale. Guess who wins it? Jey Uso. Well, let's see how main event Jey Uso is. I'm very curious what they gave the match. They gave it a B? They gave it a fucking B? This match was awful. Okay, clearly the people from Bleacher Report, like who rates and watches this shit for Bleacher Report, are not actual wrestling fans. I don't know. Maybe they are, but this was not that great of a match. This was terrible. Like, it's memed all over the internet right now. Like, Jey Uso couldn't take a regular neck breaker correctly. Like, Punk literally was pissed that Jey Uso went face first down instead of back first down on a, you know, on a reverse neck breaker. That Punk always does. And it's an old school move. And Jey Uso tried to take a face bump with it instead of going down on his back. Punk was pissed. Got up, kicked him in the head, and then got him back up and did the neck breaker correctly that time. And there was just, like, other times where Uso just didn't seem... It just, I don't know what it was. Just didn't seem like himself. He just, I don't know if that was part of the psychology of what they're trying to do, but, like, the match suffered for it. Like, he just isn't the main event caliber superstar that I was, like, getting behind and I was really enjoying, like, a year or two ago. Like, when he started, like, being on his own and doing his own thing, I'm like, yeah, this guy's all right. This guy's doing his thing. He's cool. Now his entrance is bloated and repeated and so annoyingly long. He looks out of shape. Like, he looks like he's gained weight and he's out of shape. He's gassed by the time the match starts, and he just and he's very uninspiring to watch in the ring. Like, he is, in my opinion, Jey Uso is the modern day Ultimate Warrior. He's not careful in the ring. He only has a few moves that he does, and they're not very interesting. Like, there's no uniqueness to a Jey Uso move. And the only unique thing he does is something he copied from The Rock. So as a tribute. So like for the most part, he doesn't have any innovation or flair. Um I just and then like I will say I marked for the Anaconda Vice. I was happy to see the Anaconda Vice. And I really wish that would have been more worked more into the match. Like more so than anything else. Um how many go to sleeps did we see in this match? I think he hit like Jey Uso with like 4 or 5 go to sleeps in this match. Jey Uso even hit him with the go to sleep. I am also getting tired of the whole big match feel where they kick out of each other's finishers. They gotta do each other's other finisher. Like Punk did the spear, Jay did the go to sleep. Like so much of WWE like main event like matches that go long show the opponents using each other's finishers, and it's getting old. Like that used to be like a super heel thing, like someone using someone like the face's finisher on them. Like that's a heel thing to do. That shouldn't be like back and forth. Well, you use my move, I'm going to use your move. You're okay with that, right? No, no, it's just happening way too often. The other spot that happens way too often is the spot where CM Punk looks super exhausted after a go to sleep, falls to his knees, and his opponent, after getting hit in the head with the knee, bounce walks into the ropes and bounces back and falls on CM Punk's shoulders so he can do it again. And it's like, oh. Like when he did the move against Jon Moxley in AEW, I was cool with that. Because, all right, cool, it made sense. The callback to that when he did it against Seth Rollins at the first Raw for Netflix, cool. I was fine with that. That was a nod to that. I was cool with that. But now he's been doing it more than that repeatedly against different opponents. And it's like, it's become part of his routine, part of his gimmick. And it's like, no. Can we stop with that? Why can't you just knee him once in the face and that's that? Protect your fucking finisher. It's a fucking go to sleep. You're supposed to be the man, right? The man shouldn't have to do that move 5 times a night to fucking win a match. You do it once and they should be done. Maybe twice if you get distracted or they roll out of the ring. But no more than that. You're doing it 4 or 5 times. I'm not buying it anymore. Against Jey Uso? Get out of here. Like, this match sucked. Overall, it just wasn't very good. And not to mention, I'm not sure if like the water, like using the water, the bottled water to wake Jey Uso up outside the ring to get him like snap him back into it. I don't know if that was planned or if Jay was legit just that gassed and that out of it that Punk needed to like wake his ass up. Like I don't know, but like yeah, this match was not very enjoyable. So yeah, they gave it a B grade. I would have gave it a C minus. Like this was not a fun match. I'm a genuinely I'm a CM Punk fan. I love watching Punk, but this made me feel like Jey Uso should not be main event Jey Uso. He should be 5-star, catering 5-star Jey Uso. Like I was very excited that I thought that him and Jim were gonna start tag teaming again on the regular because I feel Jay's run as a single star was pretty much cooked. Yeah, I'm gonna use the word cooked. Yeah, I felt like it was done. Let's move on and let's bring them back together and let's have some fun Uso times. But no, yeah, I just a little disappointed with just kind of where Jey Uso's at in the company. And I'm kind of disappointed that there was no other smosh finish, or there was no no interruptions after Punk won. It just straight up Punk wins the title. Cut the black. Like, there was and this is so this speaks volumes of Triple H's booking. Like, how dare we have anything interesting happen at our bigger events, at our PLEs, outside of a match finish? Like, oh, Punk won. Well, I guess we don't have Money in the Bank, so nothing else is gonna happen. Like, I really wish they could have teased something or done something. They did not. No teasing, nothing. I get maybe save it for Raw, maybe, or something like that, but give me a reason to watch Raw. All right? Do a tease, do something. You gotta get people to watch your product. You gotta leave a little something, a little bit of breadcrumbs for your audience to keep biting on, to keep munching on, to follow the path, to keep them engaged and turned on. And I don't know what it is with Triple H booking. He doesn't do that very well. Not at all. Just not at all. But I digress. So overall, I thought Saturday night's main event was kind of meh. It was just not very good. Lately, WWE PLEs and big shows have been kind of mid, outside of NXT. NXT has been knocking it out of the park, but anything from the main roster has just been kind of mid, with one or two exceptions per show. I forget what their next big show is. I think it's going to be War Games Survivor Series, which it annoys me that War Games is now a Survivor Series thing head on full time instead of being an NXT, or at least letting them switch in and out. I can rant about War Games and my digression about I can complain about that some other point, some other time. But overall, I just don't know what they plan on doing. Is there really anything really set up to where, or anything that merits a War Games? I feel like this is probably the weakest setup for a War Games ever. What is it, the 3rd of November? We got at least 3 weeks. 2 to 3 weeks, probably 3 weeks. This is the weakest setup for War Games that I've ever seen. Usually you would have a little idea that because they've already advertised War Games. Usually you would see some sort of idea of some faction wanting to hate on some other faction. Now I'm wondering is it gonna be the Solos faction against the Wyatts being in the War Games? Because that's the group to group that I see with the most tension between each other compared to anything else going on. But who knows? It's hard to say. Hard to say. But anyways, that's really all I got to mention for recent shows and what's been my thoughts in pro wrestling. Hopefully, I am happy that CM Punk won. Very happy. But I really hope they don't waste any more time pushing Jey Uso. I really hope they don't. The man, they gave him an opportunity. The man basically couldn't keep the momentum up. People are tired of seeing him in the ring. People are tired of seeing him get pushed. Honestly, I want to see some interesting booking and do some fun stuff with CM Punk as champ, before he inevitably loses it to Braun Breaker at some point. Because that's who I see dethroning him at when it's all said and done. It's going to be Braun Breaker. So yeah, we'll see what they come up with. And yeah, all right. That's all I got for you guys. I will talk with you later. Have a good one.